Hello, fellow kids, to this new video of mine. I am actually trying out a beer I can't remember drinking it. These I probably drank it, but yeah, it's Störtebeker. It's from the north of Germany, and I usually don't like a lot of North German beers. So let's give it a try. Yeah, no, it tastes fine. I will probably, okay. So it tastes okay. Like, nothing I would buy for myself. Usually stick with Carlsberger or Carlsberg. I don't know. But it tastes just fine. I drank Überseebier from Störtebeker a few days ago, and it didn't taste just fine. But I was at a family gathering and my aunt was like, yeah, but that's a good one, try it. And I was like, okay, fine, try it. I did try it, didn't like it. And I can't just tell her, yeah, well, your favorite beer tastes like trash to me. That would be not very polite. So I'm drinking different beer now. In this video, I will talk about optimism, pessimism, the left, like dumbos like me, and yeah, why we should still go voting. The thing with optimism and pessimism is like a lot of people I know who are like on the intellectual side of my friend group don't like the word. I like categories, optimism, pessimism, because it's very vague. And let's start with the definition. The Concise Oxford Dictionary of Current English has the following entry. A doctrine that the actual world is the best of all possible worlds. View that good must ultimately prevail over evil in the universe. Sanguine disposition, inclination to take bright views. While pessimism is a tendency to look at the worst aspects of things. Doctrine that this world is the worst possible, or that all things tend to evil. Okay, we will get into detail about it. Although optimism and pessimism are terms that are useful in expressing fundamental human attitudes towards the universe or towards certain aspects of it, they have an ambiguity and relativity that makes them useless for a valid philosophical analysis. Wonderful. Okay, so now we have like concepts which you can basically not really apply to like in a good manner, in like a helpful way. But still, they're funny, so let's continue. Because it is way more complicated. Okay, I'm a metaphysical optimist or metaphysical pessimist. And what that means, I will explain now. So, metaphysical optimism or pessimism is basically referring to the nature and the underlying nature of. So, a distinction is made here between the time which we are talking about. As an example, I could be an optimist in regard to the past. Say like, everything was good. Then in the present I can say, everything is still good. And then I would be for the present optimist. But I can still be a pessimist for the future, saying everything will be bad. And that's something which reminds me, at least, of a lot of conservatives. People being like, yeah, well, the past was great. The present, it's all declining. Another distinction that is made is between whether goodness is even possible in the world. So the question is, as an example, can human achieve goodness or can do good things? And you can deny it in different ways if you're a pessimist. So you can deny it as an example because if humans have no free will, nothing we do is ever good, because goodness implies that you're doing it voluntarily. Another point is that because no human has ever been good, it can't happen in the future. Because, I mean, I watched a documentary saying that the amount of people which have already lived, and I forgot the number, but it was something with 1 billion. So if over 1 billion people can't be good, the chances that in the future there will be goodness is under 1 to 1 billion. Like, very tiny. And another way of denying it is that also there are small exceptions. As an example, Jesus, because some of the people I read are apparently Christians. In the long run, that the few good humans, like, I don't know, Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses, as an example, just to please the 0 religious people watching it. This, in theory, which I'm explaining now, very good people, are just disturbances and will ultimately be overpowered by evil. Even if I was a perfectly good person and would only do good things, the amount of goodness in the world, which would be necessary to turn the world good, yeah, we will always have more evil. At least if you're a pessimist. If you're optimist, you think, I don't know, the evil people are the disturbances. Another point which you can say yes or no to, which could decide if you're optimist or pessimist, is if human can even comprehend goodness. If goodness is even intelligible. Optimists would affirm the question, while pessimists would not. They would say even if goodness is theoretically possible, humans can't understand it, so they can't do it. Another point where you can distinguish between optimism and pessimism is whether good and evil can even be separated. I've talked about if goodness can be understood, but if you, as an example, are like a nihilist and go around thinking, yeah, well, goodness, good, bad, evil, stuff like that, are just human inventions. They aren't real. That means that ultimately no good can ever exist. No evil can ever exist, but yeah, also no goodness in the world. I've learned 2 very cool words, meliorism and pagerism. Hope I pronounce it correctly, I don't know. I have never read the words in German either, so they both assume that progress is real, but meliorism assumes that the world is getting better and better, while pagerism assumes that the world is getting worse and worse and worse. And now let's talk about optimistic and pessimistic sociology, which is more like political science. I don't know, I think the word sociology here is weird, to say the least. But let's get into it. So, as an example, a pessimist sociologist underlying foundation. Like a pessimist foundation of theory would be, as an example, the assumption that our capitalistic society is neither desirable nor replaceable. That would be pessimistic. But if the existing system is to be condemned, but you still believe that another system, another world is possible, then that would be optimistic. That, as an example, Marx would be an optimist in that regard. And another optimist thing would be to believe that this system is good. Might have a reason that we're all pessimists here. I'll come back to that later. That means that basically radical revolutionary theorists are just as much optimists as reformists, which we all love. I need to drink. And I also found the word apocalyptic pessimism, which basically means that we can have a revolution, but no matter what we do, the suffering of humans will never end, and our situation, the status in the world will never really improve. That's very sad. It's all sad here. I mean, we are all sad here. Leftists, apparently. I have also found a quote from someone called Bell, I don't know the other name, which he wrote, or she wrote, in the 1947. Very bad with numbers, to be honest. And I want to read it out just because I found it and I thought it was cool, because it illustrates how we usually are so focused on our own time that we forget all the other things around us in the world. So, we have been accustomed to think of our own time as standing at the apex of civilization. from which the deficiencies of preceding ages may patronizingly be viewed in the light of progress. The reality is that in the long perspective of history, the present century will not hold an admirable position. These years will be recorded in the book of years as among the bloodiest of all annals. It is not an irresponsible prophecy to say that this 20th century may succeed in bringing the doom of civilization. And it's so fascinating because it is to me, because I think I could write something like that and mean it. Like, we all believe that what we are living in now is the only reality possible. We can't see the future and we are looking down on the past and we think this is like the highest peak of them all. But still, he wrote, might succeed in bringing the doom of civilization. And in this century now we can add in bringing down the doom of our Earth, our planet. I mean, isn't it wonderful? How can't we all be optimists? Okay, so I had to get my dog. Leah. Say hello to the camera, Leah. Oh my god, her eyes look so weird. That's Leah. She is very cute and I love her a lot. But now let's return to the topic. And Leah, don't do stupid things here. Yeah. I found another category to apply to optimism and pessimism, and that's active or passive. Because I figured out, I was asked, are you an optimist, are you a pessimist? I was like, I think I'm a pessimist. I pretty much look like the ultimate pessimist, I think. But I'm also not passive. I don't believe that what I do can change a lot of things. I don't believe that I will ever have, as an example in regard to my mental illnesses, I don't believe that I will ever live a life without them. But that doesn't mean that I don't try to live a life with them every day. If I were a passive pessimist in regard to my mental illness, as an example, I don't know, I wouldn't get out of bed. I wouldn't get out of bed every day. I wouldn't... I don't know, I wouldn't be here probably. Or if I was a passive optimist, if I would just believe everything would get better without me having to do something, that would mean that I wouldn't be here as well. I would lay in bed and hope it will get better tomorrow. So yeah, active and passive is, at least in my opinion, a very, very good addition to this optimists and pessimists. And now let's discuss pessimism and politics and the left. Because yeah, I think it is fair to say that most of us feel very helpless. I mean, most of us are probably, at least in my environment, a lot of my leftist friends are white, queer, middle-class kids. We grew up thinking everything will be fine. We grew up getting taught you can reach everything just to develop a bunch of mental illnesses in high school and almost dropping out and now having a weird YouTube channel. But I think being pessimistic is the realistic, if most logical thing we can be, because we don't have a shit ton of money to buy politicians. I mean, in Germany it's less of a plutocracy as in the US, but still, if you candidating for the Bundestag, you have to pay for your campaign yourself. So if I would, I was doing campaigning and helping out for a very left party in Germany, which they have system change. We want to abolish capitalism in their program. Okay, so they're very left. Probably would be illegal in the US, but in Germany they exist. So I helped campaigning, and basically, because this party is very left and they don't have a lot of money, they have had almost no posters and no stickers, and they had those shitty flyers. But yeah. So you can like really see in my town, there's apparently a group of very, very bad people who are tearing down fascist posters and also liberal posters. But like the fascists need more time to put on like new posters, while the Liberal Party has the forced of these large poster things. The false time. Certain people have demolished it like 3 times already, and they have a new one. And I mean, they have too much money. They have way too much money. Those very bad people don't. They have the police on their neck. But I also think that the left being pessimistic is not a good look. As the Times puts it is staggeringly obvious that pessimism dramatically undermines the appeal of the left. Why on earth would anyone sign up with a movement that believes the situation is so hopeless? What's so inspiring about it? Like, I don't know! I don't fucking know! I don't know why I'm left. Seriously, I will make a video about why parts of me want to be a Nazi. Because this hopelessness here is so devastating. I mean, I'm having like a shit ton of stickers. And I am buying stuff and I'm donating money and stuff. I'm helping campaigning. I'm talking to my fucking conservative Catholic relatives about politics. And still, I won't change anything. Here it is, the pessimism. But I mean, how can you believe that it will change something? I mean, how delusional does one have to be to believe that voting will change enough? That going onto the street and talking will change enough? I mean, I've been to like of our like Nazi party. I've been to one of their Stammtische. I don't know. I think it's what it is. I've been to a meeting of them and talked to them. And then I think I basically, because I was an open leftist, but I was like, okay, I will talk to you fellow kids. That kind of leftist. I basically stole the attention from the original fascist speaker, which was there to convince the people that they had to vote for a Nazi party because of the poor Jews who will be prosecuted by Muslims. And I stood there with my gay pride flag, and then someone was like, okay, yeah, well, what do you think about being left and right? What are the differences? Like, they asked me the questions in the end and not those Nazis. I mean, that was hilarious. And I then talked to some of the people there. I mean, I've been talking to fascists and Nazis a lot, and they would probably be very, very hurt if they hear me calling them Nazis. But I've talked to them a lot. I've discussed stuff with them. And the thing is, they are also just getting instrumentalized. They don't vote like the people I know don't vote because they've read the whole program, because, oh my god, the program is so awesome. No, they vote because no one explains to them why they shouldn't vote for Nazis. Which I should maybe make a video about. I don't know. I probably should. And the thing is, even if we will get a very left coalition in our Bundestag, like with the Green Party and the not really social democrats, which are, I mean, they're still more social than the US Democrats, but and with our, yeah, with the party like I like, the left, they are really called the left. It's wonderful. But even if we'd get a coalition like them, we would still be part of the NATO, we would still let the US have their troops in our country to help them bombard kids. We would still help the rich people who are exploiting poor nations like Mali to, yeah, to have the interests met. I read that I think Philadelphia bombed its own citizens, So yeah, we are not appealing. I think we are honest. And I sometimes think I should just lie. Should just do, I don't know, pretend like I really believe that we can make Germany into like a good, wonderful socialist dream utopia. But not even socialists and communists and anarchists believe that when we have like our ideal, realistic socialist or anarchist or communist country or world, which, because countries that wouldn't work, we need a world full of communists or anarchists, socialists, even communists and something like the left. We don't even believe that this would be achievable, most of us. Most of, like, the most left person I know, like, in real life and not on the internet, he will go voting as well because they have fucking nuclear bombs. They could just, they would rather erase us all than to watch non-capitalist society succeed. They would rather destroy the whole planet than admit that maybe capitalism was like the best idea we ever had. And I mean, right now in Germany we have like the Green Party who's trying to do like a positive and optimistic campaign. But it just feels so dishonest because we all know that this planet will probably die. Like, okay, no, the planet won't die. But the human race and most other races will probably be close to extinction if things go the way we assume they will go in the next 100 years. That's hard to deny if you fucking look at the world around us. I actually wrote something up which I want to read out now. How can they run around and tell people that fighting climate change will be a fun game? I believe that we will have to give up many things which made the last years so convenient to live on, and giving up things you once enjoyed is hard. I stopped eating meat when I was 15, and I'm not 15 or 16, 17 anymore, so like a bunch of years ago. And to be honest, I'm still missing it. There isn't a month without a situation where I love to dump being a vegetarian and just go eat this lovely bacon, but I don't. And that's hard, that's not fun. I am sure we cannot replace all the fancy things with climate neutral ones because our whole way of consuming, or more especially overconsumption, is the problem. And that's something the Green Party in Germany, as an example, won't address. Like this whole green capitalist thing, as if we can live in a capitalistic society which won't focus on exploiting every resource they can exploit. Because that's what capitalism is. The only reason Germany is not a hellish nightmare, I mean it's the kind of nightmare but like not a hellish nightmare, is because 100 and 200 years ago we had communists and socialists fighting that we have health insurance. That's why Germany has free healthcare, because 150 years ago communists and workers and like the left had their pitchforks and torches outside and fought for something. And it was not because capitalism was nice. Capitalism does not want to be nice. We have to make capitalism nice if we want to continue living on this planet. Which basically means, I don't know, abolish it, probably. I also want to quote something which I read also in this Times article. In short, when the luck was winning, it often acted as if it was losing. And I think that's kind of true because we are still kind of often idealistic. And we also know a lot of problems because, I mean, Biden was elected and the first impulse, I think every left person on the world was like, okay, whew, not Trump anymore. And the next impulse was like, oh fuck, we have another capitalist asshole in the White House. Shit. I mean, he won't get into nuclear war over Twitter, but that doesn't mean that he won't exploit people and bomb children in Afghanistan or Syria. Yeah, it sucks. And let's discuss why we still have to go to the elections. I mean, I really don't think that my voice, like my vote will do a lot of things. In Germany, the words voice and votes are the same. It's sorry in German, obviously. So we still have to go voting, because not voting is not an appropriate reaction. Because the thing is, we don't have to choose, luckily, between voting and organizing, protesting, fighting fascists. We can do both, or all of those things. I read something, like, I read parts of Camus' theory where it's like, the absurd. And I think you can apply that very well to this thing in voting, elections. Basically, the absurd is not the meaninglessness of life, but the meaninglessness of voting. Because yeah, I can't vote to abolish the German Federal Republic and to reinstall the German Democratic Republic, which I don't want to do, don't get me wrong. Just kind of, yeah, just a joke. I don't want our good old socialist state back with free healthcare, recycling system, and women's rights. Did you know that it was forbidden that it was earlier forbidden to hit your child in the DDR, like the German Democratic Republic, like East Germany, than it was in West Germany? So my West German grandparents got hit at school, while my East German grandparents didn't. Fun facts, by the way. Anyway, oh, also women's rights were much better in East Germany, and I also read that women in East Germany had better sex than West Germany, because probably there was, well, like, more self-confident or something like that. Anyway, we can just vote inside the system, we cannot vote for the system. And that's even worse in countries where you only have two parties. Yeah, that's bad. But we can still, in the system, try to regulate a bit. So there are still important decisions to be made, which will influence how good we will live in the system. We can't decide if we want to live here, but how we want to live here. And there is like a paradox. I mean, they all pretend like, oh, votes are so fucking important. They are not. And that's like the paradox. And you can be like, basically kill yourself, as in you realize life has no meaning, so you kill yourself. That would basically be not voting. You can go into the delusional state, like, as in searching meaning of life in something like religion and pretending that there is a meaning which isn't there. That would probably be believing that, yeah, well, my votes are so fucking important, I will change capitalism forever. No, they are not. But you can be, yeah, you can be realistic. You can say, yeah, well, I can't change a lot, but maybe I can change if these transsexual children will have better access to gender affirmative stuff. Oh no, not good with English. Maybe I can't vote to abolish capitalism, but I can vote to strengthen workers' rights. I can vote for free and public healthcare, which is already available in Germany, but we still have like a two-class healthcare system, which basically means that I always got the fancy braces and the very expensive ones because my insurance was special, while the other kids had cool ones with colorful stuff, and I had invisible braces, basically. So you could smile, and no one could see I had braces. It just looked weird. So yeah, we can vote as an example that the two-class healthcare system becomes a one-class healthcare system, with everyone paying for everyone's healthcare. We can't vote that no one has to go to school anymore, but we can vote so in school we don't have a lot of fascists sitting around. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to know that we don't have... I mean, not being illusional about things is exhausting. I mean, I sometimes just wish I could believe into all those conservative fascist lies. I mean, it would be so comfortable to believe in these alt-right lies. It would be so comfortable to believe that there is no climate change. You can relax, you can eat your bacon. You just have to get yourself a good husband. Give him 1 or 2 white, pretty blonde children. I'm not even blonde. I can't give birth to blonde children, probably. Except if my husband is Swedish, maybe then. I mean, I would be comfortable. Because trying to see the world as it is brings some kind of responsibility with it. I mean, I can't eat meat anymore because I know the effect it has on climate change and on, the animals and the environment in general. I know that we could feed the whole world if we would just stop eating meat and give use the space we now use for farming soya to give to chicken, to give this soya to other people. Maybe not the same, I don't know if there are differences, but yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, it would be cool if I could eat an egg without feeling guilty about it. It would be cool if I could eat butter without feeling guilty about it. I'm not even eating pure butter. It's butter with some vegetable oils in it, because so it's basically just half butter and half vegetable stuff. I want to go do an internship in the US next year, but the only reason why I'm hesitating about it is, oh my god, I'd have to fly, and that's bad for the environment. I mean, it would be so cool to just believe that what we do as a society isn't impacting the world around us. But I don't believe it. That's not appealing about the left. We are all fucking pessimistic because how can you be optimistic when you're seeing the world as it is? At least as we believe, or I believe it is. I mean, I could consume a lot of right-wing media and then I could stop believing it, maybe. Probably couldn't. Holy fucking couldn't. We had in Germany an environmental catastrophe this summer where people died. And this would not have happened without climate change, probably. And in the US, where I'm filming this video, people are probably dying because of Ida. And Ida wouldn't be that way without climate change. We still have to go to the election and vote, because maybe that's just the only thing we can do. So appealing about the left, I know. But I mean, we can't have a world revolution if the people in power have nuclear bombs. Pessimist. But we can try to make this world work and the system work the best we can. We can go to votes, we can talk to our weird Catholic relatives and explain to them why not voting is not good and why they probably shouldn't vote for Nazi parties. This world sucks. And voting and organizing and protesting is the only thing we can do. We can vote left people into the parliament, and then we have to pressure them to doing what we want. Not in illegal ways, of course. Don't strike me, YouTube. Not again, please. We can't save the world. It's probably already doomed. And we can't pretend like it's not, because that's dumb. That's not helpful. We can only try to improve it in the best ways. We can try to have a good time where the world is ending, and trying to have a good time where we're not actively destroying it. I mean, this is a glass bottle at least, okay? Yeah, it sucks. It sucks so much. I really want to do this internship in the US, but I can't allow myself to fly. I mean, I probably have to, because I really, really want it. And also I can tell myself that the positive effect it will have on my life because I mean, do an internship in the US if you're from Europe, you will have good contacts later and you will have something good to put in your CV. You have, like, it can improve your life, and that can mean that I will have later the power to change things. I mean, I could say something like that, I don't believe it. But I also want to do it. This video is done now. The bottle is not empty. Yeah, I hope you could follow my points. I hope you could, understand what I wanted to say. Cutting the last videos I made in English, I found grammar mistakes, and it's like so cringe. I'm like, no, that's so wrong. Please don't say it, and I'm still saying it. But on the other hand, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares anyway? Yes, I hope you have a nice day. Please tell me your opinion in the comments. And maybe give me some good news, because this it didn't kill my vibe. So smiling, but it's not helping to improve my mood, to say the least. So give me comments, give me likes, give me dislikes, just give me some interactions, please. It would make my day. Goodbye!